Hello, hello, hello. Antifers in the mother chat. Antifers in the chat. Sorry, I got to show my eyes. Every time I don't show my eyes on YouTube, Republicans are like, you're hiding your identity. Even though my face is everywhere. You're trying to hide like you're in witness protection because you're scared of doing accountability for one of us one day gonna drive up on you, done teach you a damn done lesson. Rory, thank you for the $5 Venmo. Thank you so much, Rory. Appreciate you, buddy. Appreciate you. How's everyone doing? We've been going over a lot of the new ICE case of Lorenzo Salgado Araujo, who was killed in Houston, Texas by ICE. We have some updates on Iran here. Iran fired on a ship in the Strait of Hormuz not long ago. And so that situation is escalating every single day. And really headed down a path of no return. And what I mean by no return is another years-long conflict in the Middle East. Years and years long. Graham Plattner has officially withdrawn from the main Senate race, submitted his paperwork. His replacement will be chosen at a July 25th convention. I think the likely replacement there is going to be a guy by the name of Troy Jackson, who ran for governor, had previously endorsed Plattner, and had previously been endorsed by Bernie Sanders in his attempt or his campaign for governor. So we'll see what happens there. Who's chosen? What path we go? If the Democrats get involved in that and decide, hey, you had this chance and this is who you put in there, so we're gonna put our person in there. I don't know. We'll see which way it goes. But more importantly, ICE continues their antics, as predicted by many of us. This is not going to stop. None of this is going to stop until ICE is held accountable. You know, this individual was a 52-year-old Mexican immigrant, never broke the law, didn't do anything wrong. Guy was here for 35 years, worked every day of his life, put 3 kids through college, was a new grandfather, and was killed by ICE. ICE, once again, unmarked vehicle, no emergency lights, tries to run someone off the road, and then killed them. According to the eyewitnesses, which are the brother and I believe another employee of his, coworker rather would be a better description, ICE was mocking him in his final moments. Which we've heard before. I mean, you could say, well, I don't know, I don't believe that. Da-da-da. Well, unfortunately, we've heard that before. We have sadly heard that before. Going over this one more time, you guys can get somewhat of a clear description of what actually happened that day, and we'll move through it. So, first of all, thank you to Christopher. Thank you so much for the $19.99 super chat. Appreciate you very much. Thank you so much, Christopher. Appreciate that. And Janine, thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Christopher says Soros payment. Listen, George, I know you're working with Christopher and sending it through Christopher now. I understand that, but we've got to stop. You got to stop putting your name on it because they can use that to indict me. I did everything right and they indicted me. They indicted me, so we're going to indict them for absolutely nothing. We're going to criminalize their political ideology. So true. Don't put your name on it. All right, let's go through. This was the timeline of events from that day. Kind of see the security camera footage here. You could see his vehicle pass, and then you see the vehicle pass behind him. Alicia, thank you for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you, Alicia. Now you see the black vehicle coming up behind the van. And look, ICE doesn't have a good explanation as to why they shot him. They keep saying, well, it's a case of mistaken identity. Well, that doesn't prove anything. Case of mistaken identity proves nothing. Because regardless of whether or not the identity was the individual you were looking for, why just shoot him? Right? Doesn't make any sense when you say case of mistaken identity. You mean the person you were looking for should have died? I mean, it just quite literally makes no sense.
But I didn't know my options.
Whoops, I don't know why that popped up. Alicia, thank you so much. ICE is doing a terrible job. But you can call in if you dispute what I'm saying rather than just typing it like a coward in the chat. You know what I mean? I'm the down for the coward shit. You know what I'm saying? So just to point out, too, the son spoke at the vigil. There was a vigil last night in Houston, Texas. And Lorenzo Salgado Araujo's son spoke at that vigil. This guy's press conference was one of the saddest things I've ever seen in my life. But here's him at the vigil.
My dad was a very private man, so him being known by this many people was like a nightmare to him. He did not want his name ever to be out there because he was a man that was just wanted to be known for being a hardworking provider. He was a very shy individual who never wanted to cause any harm. He just wanted to get in his van, go to work, and come back to eat a nice meal. He built the homes that people bought for their families to put over their heads. And he saved up so much money to be able to build the house of his dreams so he can put a roof that he built on our heads. I've been looking for answers since 7 o'clock a.m. on Tuesday as to where my dad is and as to like what happened to him, what hospital was he at, and no one could give me those answers, you know? It is absolutely terrible what happened to him. But with speaking to my family and specifically my mom has been off social media since everything happened. She hasn't turned on the TV at all since anything happened. So she doesn't know the huge amount of support that we're getting. My dad was a very private man, so him being...
It's the saddest shit ever, man. I mean, you know, these are just people. These are just average, ordinary people trying to get by, you know. And you got these troglodytes in the chat cheering it on like it's some kind of victory because someone was killed. And they don't even realize they're advocating against themselves. You don't even realize they're advocating against themselves. Because every time Lorenzo Salgado Araujo or someone like him gets killed, every single time, and doesn't get a right to due process, you use your right to due process just a little bit more. And that's what you're not realizing. He wasn't even the individual they were apparently looking for, according to them. Not that it would matter.
I'm so tired of hearing they should have done it the right way. They should have had their papers. He was here illegally. The immigration system is treated like a pendulum. Every 4 years, depending on who is in the White House, they tell us to do this, and then they tell us to do that, and then they tell us, just joking, do this. Well, you know what? Sometimes it takes 12 years.
The family would like to express 3 wishes, calling for an independent investigation into the events that transpired yesterday, calling for reform to change the way ICE operates during a raid with ambush-style tactics and unmarked vehicles, and for his wife, Maria, That's his request, that she is taken care of. Now that she is without her partner of 40 years and his income, there is a GoFundMe led by LULAC.
I'm so tired of hearing they should.
I would just correct one thing there. ICE doesn't need reform. ICE needs to be abolished. They've proven time and time again that they need to be abolished. You can't reform something like this. You just can't. Under any circumstances. Something else disturbing is how difficult they've made it for them to have access to the body, which I think is unbelievable. It's every time this happens, just so much disrespect. So much disrespect. Let me give kind of a breakdown. I know there's some people in here kind of who don't know the entire timeline, and this was a pretty accurate breakdown. Chrissy, thank you for being a Muppet Masher for 16 months. W. Chrissy with the team. Appreciate you, Chrissy. And Dory being a tadpole for 4 months. Let's go. W. Christie with 16 months as a Muppet Masher. Let's go.
CNN has obtained new surveillance footage that shows the moments before 52-year-old Lorenzo Salgado Araujo was fatally shot by ICE agents on July 7th in Houston, Texas. A source with preliminary details about the incident told CNN that he was not the target of the immigration operation. Federal officials' version of what led to the shooting is, quote, false, says an attorney who represents 2 of the 3 men who were in Salgado Araujo's van and also detained that morning.
Let me tell you about my father's last day alive. At 5:50, my dad got dressed, grabbed his lunch and coffee, hugged and kissed my mom goodbye, slipped on his hat for the day, loaded his lunch, his work boots, his coffee in his work van. He patted our dog on his head goodbye and drove off to pick up his crew for work.
In a video taken at 6:46 a.m., Salgado Araujo's white van is seen on Wayside Drive and then turning onto Canal Street while a black SUV appears to follow. At 6:47 a.m., Salgado Araujo can be seen driving on Canal Street while a black SUV drives near him on the left side. Seconds later, another black SUV drives through a parking lot of a nearby shopping center in his direction. It's unclear what time Salgado Araujo was shot, but video captured by a Houston resident at 6:48 a.m. shows him on the ground suffering a gunshot wound. In a statement to CNN, an ICE spokesperson said agents tried to conduct a traffic stop. The agency says Salgado Araujo refused to follow several verbal commands and rammed into one of its law enforcement vehicles.
My clients reiterated that at no point was there ever an agent standing in front of the vehicle, nor was an agent ever placed in the line of danger. That is simply false, and I believe my clients are telling the truth.
The Department of Homeland Security's Office of the Inspector General is investigating the shooting, according to ICE. The FBI's Houston field office is also investigating the alleged assault on a federal law enforcement officer, the agency said in a statement. CNN has reached out to DHS for additional information.
So let's break down a couple facts there. First, let me thank people that are updating their memberships here. E.E. Green, Muppet Masher for 17 months. Let's frickin' go. Alicia, Muppet Masher for 17 months. Let's go. And Lee's upgrading to Mastermind of Muppetry, the highest tier we have for support as a member. Thank you so much, Lee's. W. Lee's. Appreciate you so much. Thank you so much, Lee's. To the person in chat says, what the fuck does Antifa have to do with this? This is fascism you're witnessing. You're witnessing this is a result of fascism. This is what fascism is. We have masked agents hunting people in the morning on their way to work. That's fascism. Masked agents murdering people in the street. That's fascism. Identifying enemies as a unifying cause, in this case, undocumented immigrants. That is a core tenet of fascism. Okay? So Antifa has everything to do with this. But that's besides the point. ICE keeps saying, we were looking for someone else. We were trying to do this. Well, let's clear something up. And I made a video about this on YouTube. In fact, let me show the video instead of just explaining it, because I think it's probably best explained through my video. I believe I Yeah, I uploaded one here. Let's just take a listen. I want you all to answer me honestly right now. Would you pull over for this vehicle? I want you to give me an honest answer. Every single person in here, I want your answer. Would you pull over for this vehicle? Would you pull over for this vehicle? I want to give you guys an example of how ICE drives around these local communities. I see a ton of comments from people on the right that Lorenzo Salgado Araujo, this most recent case in Houston, Texas, the 52-year-old Mexican immigrant who was unalived by ICE on the side of the road, should have just pulled over. He should have complied. I have never seen an ICE vehicle with identifying markers. They typically drive around like this, plain clothes, masked, sunglasses, hat. Sometimes there's no license plate. A lot of times the windows are tinted so you can't see inside. So I ask you this question, when you make these comments about complying, would you pull over for this individual? Would you pull over for these guys? Because the truth is, this could be anybody, and they are making it easier for the worst of our population to commit the most terrible crimes. Would you pull? That is a picture I took personally in Newark. And it was, T-shirts, tattoos, masks. That is how ICE drives around. They were returning from operations in Jersey City. And that's how they dress. Now, there were no emergency lights on these vehicles trying to pull Lorenzo over. There's typically no emergency lights. They really are not supposed to be conducting traffic stops anyway. But regardless of your documentation status, if that car gets behind you with two tattooed grown men with masks on, you're not pulling over. So this idea that someone should have complied is ridiculous. There is no complying with masked men. And furthermore, this is the same department that claims that their driving motivation is human trafficking. And what they're actually doing is making it easier for that category of crime to occur by saying, hey, you should pull over for masked, tattooed. I'm not saying anything against tattoos, but I'm just saying people generally, officers generally have some kind of identifying marker. Not just two tattooed guys in T-shirts and masks on. Most people are going to assume that's without good intention. And so they're making it easier for people who do engage in that category of crime, which proves that's not their actual motive, right? If it was, they would be concerned with, the kind of effect that has on human trafficking, which they are not at all. And I mean at all concerned. Not at all. See if I can. Give me 1 second here. It's a very sad situation. It's something that, every time this happens, I just can't believe that people are okay with this, that there's people that condone this type of behavior. I will never understand it. The mayor's had comments about an investigation. I'm glad to hear that regardless, they're going to attempt to collect evidence. But what really needs to happen is there needs to be an arrest. And I understand the supremacy clause, and I understand the federal government can leverage their way out of that kind of situation. So what? Make an arrest. Show some courage. Do something. Do something, anything. The family was seeking the body cam of the officers that killed their father, her husband. ICE agents said, we were not wearing body cams. Again. I don't know how many times this has to happen before people get it. I really do not understand how many times this has to happen before people wake the fuck up. And you still get Muppets in here like, ICE is doing a good job. Well, listen, what goes around comes around, folks. Karma is a hell of a thing. It is a hell of a thing.
Mi Virgencita de San Juan de los Lagos, está bendita. Muchas bendiciones. You put this después voy y me traigo otra. Por mí me quedaré aquí toda la tarde en que me queme el sol. Me duele mucho lo que le pasó.
¿Por qué le duele mucho? ¿Qué es lo que le duele más?
Su sufrimiento de él toda su vida para sacar a su familia adelante. El sufrir que están pasando sus hijos, su esposa. Toda su familia entera, como muchos lo están pasando. Me pongo en su lugar de ellos y todos los que han sufrido, me duele mucho. Mi Virgencita de San Juan de los Lagos.
This community is going through it right now. I was thinking about going to Houston on Friday. We'll see what happens. I don't know and they are organizing down there. They are protesting. So, and they're getting more protests together. They're apparently going to have a bigger one. So I'm flirting with the idea of documenting it and stuff like that. But again, I want to go where I can be the most useful. And there's stuff I'm doing in New Jersey right now. So maybe we'll see what happens. Somebody in chat made a good comment here. Todd Blanche is a Trump loyalist, top law enforcement in the country. And this is a full unconstitutional crisis. Todd Blanche is Trump's attorney. From the very beginning, we said that was a conflict of interest. You don't have your personal attorney as the attorney general, which was the deputy attorney general, but he really was always the attorney general. He was always calling the shots. He was always the guy. He's the guy who covered up the Epstein files. That's all Todd Blanche. And he would be the lead defendant on a criminal indictment for obstruction of justice for any future attorney general that decides to enforce the law in the EFTA. Because he's most responsible outside of Pam Bondi, but he's really the one that's calling the shots. That's why he was in there. That's why he was in there from the very beginning. Todd Blanche is Trump's guy, and there will never be any accountability as long as he is the attorney general of anything. Did Tallarico say anything about it? I don't know, Max. That's actually a good question. Maybe someone can answer that question. I do not know, but I can certainly check. I saw Trump commented on Delaney Hall again the other day, and he said, oh, they have another rally going right now at Houston City Hall. It's interesting. They actually have one going on right now, I guess. If you're in the Houston area, show your ass up. Get connected with your local community. See what they're doing. See what you can do to help. Se murió mi madre y dice mi padre que ya está muy viejo y quiere por el freeway. Laura Shock, thank you for the $5 super chat. Anyone who feels nothing in the situation has no soul. You know, I'm coming to find out that there are a lot of people who just don't have a soul. I don't know how they don't feel anything watching a guy like that, a family man like that, no different than you, work for 35 years to get murdered on the side of the street because ICE thought he was undocumented. I mean, what is the end? You know, someone asked me that the other day. They go, well, what is the end? When does this stop? It doesn't. It doesn't. Elections have very serious consequences, and that's what we're witnessing here. Laura, thank you so much. Appreciate you, Laura. Let me see if Tallarico commented on it. It's not a bad question, but I don't know the answer to it. I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe online or something. But I haven't seen. Here's the good thing. This family is really motivated to get accountability, which honestly puts them in danger, too. They're actually probably putting themselves at risk. Let's take a listen to what Tom Homan said, which is what a lot of people have been asking. Tom Homan did, in fact, comment on the shooting with ICE, and of course, he's going to give the same mundane answer. I haven't heard this yet, but let's take a listen to Tom Homan's response.
The question is actually about ICE's credibility. Do you think that it's taken a hit after we saw the agents lie about what happened in Minnesota with the shovel, and then now what happened in Houston? What can you tell us about that? And also,
well, look, I'm not
ICE's
going to
credibility?
comment on an ongoing investigation. In the first shooting with Renee.
Let's be clear, there is no investigation. Where's the Renee Good and Alex Preddy investigation? What'd you uncover from that very obvious murder of Alex Preddy? Yeah, okay.
Good. I was asked that same day about it. We gotta let the investigation play out. And the credibility of ICE, what happened to that dude? He was indicted. So if our agents violate policy, they violate the law, if we find that out through the investigation, the U.S. attorney there took quick action, and they'll be dealt with. And then we're going to hold our officers to high standard. But we got to wait for the investigation.
Wait a second. Wait. What agent was indicted?
Body cam footage. The attorney there took quick action. He was indicted. The investigation play out. And the credibility of ICE, what happened to that dude? In the first shooting with Renee Good, I was asked that same day about it. We got to let the investigation play out. And the credibility of ICE, what happened to that dude? He was indicted. So if our agents violate policy, they violate the law, if we find that out through the investigation, the U.S. attorney there took quick action, and they'll be dealt with. And then we're going to hold our officers to high standard. But we got to wait.
What the hell is he talking about?
Investigation to play out, because who knows if your body cam footage.
Why is he saying he was indicted? Wait a second. What is he talking about? Am I hearing this correctly, or am I? Wait. Let me rewind this. What is he talking about? Hold on.
Good. I was asked that same day about it. We gotta let the ongoing investigation. In the first shooting with Renee Good, I was asked that same day about it. We gotta let the investigation play out. And the credibility of ICE, what happened to that dude? He was indicted. So if our agents violate policy, they violate the law, if we find that out through the investigation, the U.S. attorney there took quick action, and they'll be dealt with. And then we're going to hold.
What is he talking about? Jonathan Ross has never been indicted. None of these agents have been indicted. The Justice Department said they won't pursue criminal charges in connection with that killing. State and local investigators in Minnesota said the federal government blocked them from access to the material. He was never charged. There wasn't even an investigation, meaning there was nothing to dismiss. They didn't dismiss charges because charges never existed. What is happening? Did he just say on national television that Jonathan Ross was indicted? Cameron, thank you so much for the Venmo. Says, love you, Adam. Thank you for all you do. Grateful for you and your work. Proud years-long supporter. Cameron, thank you so much for your support. It means a lot to me, and I couldn't do it without your support. So thank you so much. What is happening here? The fuck is he talking about? Let's take a listen. He's talking about the credibility of ICE.
Comment on an ongoing investigation.
I'm not going to comment on an ongoing investigation.
In the first shooting with Renee Good, I was asked that same day about it. We got to let the investigation play out. And the credibility of ICE, what happened to that dude? He was indicted. So if our agents violate policy, they violate the law, if we find that out through the investigation, the U.S. attorney...
There was never an investigation in this case. The Justice Department, there was no... the last thing they announced was there was an unresolved investigation. No indictments filed. He wasn't cleared. They didn't dismiss the charges. And let's be clear about something. There's a common misconception here that Ross was cleared of all charges. He was never charged. There was no dismiss. They didn't dismiss those charges, and they didn't clear him of any wrongdoing. He was not indicted. He was not charged. He was not cleared. And those cases, including Alex Preddy, the review for them remain open and inactive without prosecution. What a fucking weird statement from Homan there. Let's listen to the rest of it.
There to quick action, and they'll be dealt with. And then we're going to hold our officers to high standard. But we got to wait for the investigation to play out, because who knows if your body cam footage, is there cell phone videos, like what happened in Minnesota. There was actually a city camera captured something. So let the investigation play out. If the officers acted outside policy or illegally, they'll be held accountable.
Have you heard the possibility
No, they won't.
of there being more?
They won't be held accountable because you didn't even conduct the full investigation in these cases. You didn't even clear him because you can't clear him. You can't clear him because there's a shitload of evidence.
Of
So they're
this
just
incident that happened in Houston.
unsolved.
I have not heard that, but based on the 4 decades I've been doing this, they're always.
Is ICE still working to track down their actual target in Houston? Is ICE still working to track down the actual target?
ICE is after every target. If there's targets out there to be, and I'm not in the specifics of that case, but if there's a target to be looked for, they're looking for them every day.
Could you give us any more?
No, they did not investigate Jonathan Ross. There was no investigation done. I was in Minnesota. Okay. I spoke to a photographer specifically who got a lot of the shots that day, really important shots of all sorts of things, the clash after Preddy, all this stuff. He told me that that when the federal government got there, they weren't even treating the crime scene with any respect. They were throwing shit around. They didn't give a fuck less. I remember he told me that the agent was like stepping on a piece of evidence. They just didn't care. There was never an investigation conducted in any of these cases, which is why you don't hear them come forward and say the charges are dismissed. These are open, inactive cases with zero prosecution. That's what they are. Ongoing and unresolved. Because you really can't dismiss them.
Expect any more information on what we can expect when it comes to midterms, when it comes to ICE actions? And
Yes, Homan is a very strange person.
ICE in the month of June, ICE made more arrests than any month in the history of the agency. We're doing what
Not one of the people who committed murder was arrested. Not one of the people who have shot people have been arrested. You got 2 people in Minnesota that were charged. One was blocking a vehicle in, I believe. I forget what the other one was. But in terms of the discharging their firearm into other human beings, American citizens included, none. I think it's over 24 now, the number is.
President Trump promised. We're making record arrests, we're making record deportations, to stick to this promise and mass deportations. I know there's people out there who question that. They're obviously not very smart. Look at the data. Bottom line is, June of this year, the highest arrest numbers in the history of the agency.
This deportation and
Man, thank you so much for arresting non-criminals.
this deportation in Minnesota about Walz pardoning him. I mean, why do you
disgusting.
Why do you think that Walz did that?
Who pardons a child sex?
Walz didn't pardon anyone. It's a board that pardons people in Minnesota. Walz, it's not Walz. It's a board.
Who does that? Do they hate the Trump administration that much? They want to protect the illegal aliens over U.S. citizens? But that happens more than you can expect. Many times I'll be looking at cases.
And in that case, the victim in that case wanted the pardon for whatever reason. I forget what the justification was. But what I do know is that they kill innocent people. So don't tell me what's disgusting and what's not.
Unless you understand the immigration law, well, we need an aggravated felony conviction with a 365-day sentence. I've seen prosecutors, okay, felony conviction.
All right, I can't listen to this idiot anymore. What a fucking clown. What an absolute clown. Credibility of ICE. Now, the Houston mayor is demanding that ICE or that the FBI share the ICE shooting evidence. This is the same thing we saw in Minnesota, blocking people out of their ability, the state specifically and local investigators from being able to investigate the case, so there is no accountability, and then these cases remain open and unresolved.
80 hours ago, the Salgado family, life will never be the same. At no fault of theirs, Mr. Salgado was chased by an unmarked vehicles before he could identify himself and speak as a Houstonian. He was shot and killed. The FBI has all the evidence that would normally go in to an HPD or other law enforcement agencies' investigation. They have the.
Can I just shout out this amazing comment here? Sub J Stan says he was talking shit on Walls while Blanche moved Maxwell to a minimum security facility. Facts. Let me add on to that Sub J Stan W comment. Not only did he move the most infamous living sex offender in our country right now, that sex offender, right, that participated directly in the crime, didn't just facilitate, which is a common misconception. That sex offender is now receiving preferential treatment in Camp Bryan, Texas, where she's getting meals, custom meals and massages and access to technology and an emotional support dog. This is a woman who was Jeffrey Epstein's co-defendant. But yet, yeah, he cares about pardoning people convicted of sex offenses. That's right. The guy who won't release the Epstein files. Yeah, this administration totally cares about sex offenders. Give me a fucking break. Listen, Chud, spare me. Spare me. Spare me your stupidity. Okay? Spare me. Even a law passed by Congress didn't stop this administration from obstructing justice. They don't give a shit. So don't plead with me about sex offenses. You don't care. Okay? You voted for one.
Evidence in this Houstonian. He was shot and killed. The FBI has all the evidence that would normally go in to an HPD or other law enforcement agencies' investigation. They have the evidence. In this instance, the van, the passengers, the deceased, and they're tightly controlling it. We've reached out to them and asked them, share that information with HPD. The pain is real across Houston. Immigrants make this Houston a great city.
Let me tell you, that's slightly. He changed his tune slightly. Didn't get a lot of support after his original statement. You know, I'll tell you, it's going to be the same way. There will be zero accountability. Yes, are you a Trump supporter?
Yes.
Just Caitlin, thank you for being a member for 12 months. Nuremberg 2.0 will be bad for home, and facts agree. Go ahead.
Hey, how you guys doing today?
Who's you guys? It's just me. What's up?
I just mean you. I'm sorry. I didn't know if you had producers. No, I just wanted to give you a shout out and say I love your channel and everything that you do.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. You voted for Trump?
No, I did not.
Oh, I was confused. You said you voted for Trump in the beginning. Sorry.
Oh, no, I misunderstood the question.
What's up?
Well, you know, what do you think the worst thing he's doing to the country right now is?
It depends on what we're talking about. I mean,
for the American people in general. I mean, just in our day-to-day lives, yeah.
Like financial, like you mean fiscally, or do you just
well, not just fiscally, but as far as, you know, like some of the public services, such as libraries and things like that, are, you know, I've heard rumors that some of those things are kind of deteriorating, but I'm not exactly sure. And you've really got a pulse on the situation. I don't know if you've heard anything at all about it, or you know, as far as some of the services and public things that our tax money should be able to cover is really being diminished, and we're not seeing the potholes in the roads get fixed, and just things like that. I say that facetiously, but with a sincere note in my tone there.
I would say the most, in terms of fiscally, the big beautiful bill is probably the most damaging thing he's done fiscally.
Now, I haven't had a chance to really read through that, but what is the thing in the big beautiful bill I think that scares you the most?
Probably the I would say the tax changes, probably.
Yeah,
The new tax
I was
breaks,
just going to say.
because the distribution is skewed. So I'd say probably like the top 0.1%, get around $200,000 each in 2026, while middle class families see losses of, hundreds of dollars after tariffs.
Well, and the Doge checks never came out. He
No.
he put a cancellation on those. He didn't even try to push those through Congress. And yet he kept promising, oh, this is going to be a big, beautiful year for everybody, winning again and all of that. And zero, absolutely zero.
I tell MAGA that I got them, but no, they're never coming. There was 2 checks that were supposed to come. There's supposed to be a tariff rebate check, and there was supposed to be a Doge dividend.
A Doge rebate.
Yeah. Yes. A dividend.
And according to Google AI, there is no chance of that ever happening.
No, it's not. And it's definitely not happening. And he just said it not that long ago again. So he just said it recently again. So.
Well, and he seems to have the tone that he's going to get reelected. Which is running.
It's not that he's going to get reelected. His
or
tone,
stay it off.
Yes, I agree, 100%.
Do you think that'll actually happen?
I don't know about him personally, but I think there's going to be an attempt for them to remain in power. I think we're seeing, if you didn't see this morning, I don't typically use CNN for any kind of resource, but CNN actually, they had a thing this morning where they basically broke down every move of the Trump administration that should concern people about midterms and all the steps they've taken to already potentially interfere. So Trump himself, he's in his 80s. I don't think his health is great. I don't think he's on his deathbed like people claim, but I think that the right is making an attempt to remain in power. Yes. I don't think, because a lot of people refer specifically to the 22nd Amendment as if is he going to run again? When you tell people that the Constitution doesn't matter anymore, which he's already technically doing, but you say, hey, the 22nd Amendment doesn't matter anymore, you don't run again. That would be saying, hey, I'm not going to follow the Constitution, and then I'm going to follow the Constitution. I'm going to follow our election laws and our democratic system. No, once you declare that you're running again, you're now a dictator, so you don't have to run again. You just don't leave. So I do I don't understand why people think this is so outlandish and impossible. He tried this already unsuccessfully. Why are we forgetting that Donald Trump did this already? Just because he wasn't successful doesn't mean that it was any less of an attempt to remain in power after he lost an election. So I think he's going to do the same thing again. And I think he's going to feed the public a line of bullshit that communists and Marxists are attempting to take over our country. He's going to use the example of recent election. He's going to tie in the fact that there's been dissent in the streets and his executive order about Antifa being a criminal organization. He's going to tie these things together. Look, we aren't far removed historically from our country invading other countries because we claimed we needed to prevent communism from taking over our capitalist system, and that if we allowed the communism to spread, that ultimately we would lose our democracy. We're not that far removed from that. So I think that's
not only that, but that's exactly what's happening.
Yes.
When he went down there to Venezuela, I don't see any difference between what you're saying is we're not far from happening and that already happening. I think more likely than him staying in power would be to go ahead and transfer power to Vance and then run it through him.
Yeah, or just give it to him or whatever. I don't even think it'll necessarily be Vance, but whoever he decides he can trust in that moment. Could be his children. Who knows? I just think they're not even I don't even think they're sure what they're going to do in terms of the federal presidential election. What I think they're focused on right now is the midterms and making sure that this blue wave that everybody knows is inevitable doesn't happen. They don't want it. They know that if Democrats have a successful midterm, like we all know is about to happen, right? That they're going to stall out the rest of his term, and he's not going to have any opportunity.
The only problem, the only problem I have is right now in the Democratic Party, we don't have a front runner that's really strong, and we need one. You know, Newsom's got problems, and I don't know who to really put my eyes on right now.
So,
what are you thinking?
Well, I don't like to go to the presidential because it's too far away, but I would say that they need to move much more in the direction of an AOC than they do a Gavin Newsom. I don't like the way Gavin Newsom's pivoted more towards the right. I don't think he stands 10 toes down in protecting certain communities that need protecting. I think that he's tried to find middle ground in the attack on marginalized communities, and I can't support that kind of stuff. Doesn't mean I wouldn't vote for him if he got the nomination and he was up against a Republican. I would vote for him. He would not be my ideal candidate. I think the country, it would benefit greatly from a true progressive candidate, somebody that is willing to actually make changes and isn't bought and paid for by the American-Israeli PAC.
Well, back to Newsom really quick. I think that Newsom has stepped into the right almost as a compromised form of desperation.
Yes, he has. Correct. But more than his believability, he's gone against his own core values. I agree. I 100% agree. And with that evaluate, yes, I understand. I think that's exactly what he's done. I think that he thinks that that's the only way to move forward, and I disagree. I think he's misunderstanding what the left wants or what wins elections. And look, the working class is desperate to vote for a young candidate who's willing to go to the mat for them. They're not interested. That's not the issue, right? The issue isn't what he believes is the issue. And I knew that immediately when he sat down with Charlie Kirk and they were having, and he's joking about stuff. And then he's saying his son is a big fan. And he starts to, they're trying to find middle ground on like issues that, number one, the American people truly don't give a fuck about. But number two,
that's exactly right.
Right, about communities that really need protecting. I don't understand why he doesn't understand that. But regardless, it's not out of the realm of possibility that they get behind him. And if the machine gets behind him, he will certainly be the nominee. I don't think Democrats are going to go there, though. I think they're starting to recognize the move, especially with the most recent elections. Look, we've seen a lot of elections here that are starting to set the tone. And Colorado District,
Mondami and a few,
Colorado District 1, even outside of New York. This is in Colorado. Colorado's District 1 is a reliably Democratic district. This individual was 29 years old, Maylette Quiros. She wasn't even born the last time her opponent won her first primary, Diana DeGette, who is an establishment Dem, and she unseated her. That's a 15-term rep, 30 years. So that's the American people fighting back and telling you what they want. Will Democrats hear them and listen this time? Maybe, maybe not. We'll see.
Well, I just feel like the Republican machine has taken the vitality out of the Democratic Party, not entirely, but has taken the wind out of our sails a little bit.
In what way?
Well, through the media.
Well, you be more specific. I agree with you in a sense, but what do you mean specifically?
Well, okay. I mean, specifically, let me just list a few things. With Elon, for an example, taking over Twitter and turned into X, and then just your normal mainstream television media and everything, they put a lot of falsehoods in there that keep the American people discombobulated. Yeah.
Okay, so you mean mostly social media, because social media really is what wins elections now more than mainstream media. Not that mainstream media doesn't have influence, but social media, I think, has far more influence now. But I agree with you. I said right after, even before the last presidential election, I said Republicans are winning the battle of social media. Now, there's a couple of reasons why, and we get into it's a long conversation, but surface level, Republicans are willing to spread misinformation to win elections. They don't care whether or not the information they're putting out is true or false. They will just spread it. If it's effective, if it catches fire and it's making a difference and people believe it, it'll go all the way up the ladder to the president, and he'll answer it as, well, I hope that's not true. He won't dismiss it, even though it's clearly misinformation. So misinformation spreads like wildfire. They've used it to their advantage. They've leveraged conspiracies and misinformation to fearmonger the American population, and they've done it successfully. I will say Democrats, I think, are starting to recognize the power of social media a little bit better. We've seen even the DNC start to utilize things, understanding. I've said a while ago, too, the meme is the new political bumper sticker, right? Bumper stickers have always been incredibly important in politics. That's why people put them on the back of their cars and why campaigns hand them out. Well, the meme, as ridiculous as this sounds, idiocracy, the meme is the new political bumper sticker, and I think they're starting to recognize that, at least from what I've seen on social media apps like TikTok.
Well, and the other heartbreaker that's happening is all these families are getting broken up over ICE and stuff, you know.
Yeah, that's just, I mean, again, that's why I said I wanted to say, what specifically do you mean the most harmful? Like, fiscally, obviously, I already talked about.
It's hard because it's like 4 prongs of hurtful in different sectors.
Right, that's right,
I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, the
multi-pronged.
The stuff with them, you know, and that stuff with ICE and stuff like that is probably the most. I mean, they're just killing people, so I'd have to argue that's the most impactful.
Yeah, they're outright executing them.
Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate you calling in, man.
Hey, thanks for taking my call,
Thank you
brother.
so much.
I'm behind you 100%.
Thanks. Appreciate you. Take care. Have a wonderful night.
You too.
Bye-bye. Yeah, it's such a. It seems like an easy question to answer when someone goes, what's the worst thing he's done, or what's the most impactful thing he's done, you know, the most negative thing he's done to the American people. It's like, well, geez, there's so many things I could talk about. I mean, he's downright killing them in some cases, but yeah, I mean, it's difficult to narrow in on one specific thing, but yeah, it's bad. See if we can get a Republican to call in that is actually willing to have a conversation. Dems and Republicans are two wings of the same crow. We're being destroyed from within. AIPAC controls both sides. They keep it. So first of all, I'll be clear about something, right? Like understanding they're not the same. Both sides have problems, and there are candidates on both. There are politicians on both sides that accept money from AIPAC. They're not the same. For instance, Donald Trump is admittedly the most pro-Israeli president we've ever had. He's taken far more AIPAC money than his opponent. And Democrats have candidates that don't take AIPAC money,
Brian,
and are capable of winning the presidency. So I think Democrats are better. I do. I think they're better. Doesn't mean they're good. I mean, I have major problems with them too, and I will call them out equally. But to not acknowledge the difference is dishonest. Are you a Trump supporter?
Yeah. Well, kinda. I'm just curious why you don't. What mostly you don't. What do you not support about him?
Well,
like, what's your biggest qualms?
So you want to talk about policy, or you want me to give you an answer? Generally, he's a fascist, right? Donald Trump is
right, but that's just a word, though. Like, do you have any like specific thing that I should be like, oh, like fascist? Sure. Nobody believes that word anymore. You guys threw that around. You guys threw that word around like, and nobody cares anymore about that. Go ahead. Sorry.
You don't, because you don't know what it is. What is fascism?
But well, you just got them saying that the Republicans are winning the social media, and it's because of things like that. You guys throw around these words, and they lose their meaning.
That's not why.
Racism.
That's not why Republicans are winning the social media, because of the word fascism. Fascism's definition applies here. If you know what fascism is and you understand how to...
I'm not necessarily against it so much.
Okay, but again, I know what fascism is. You clearly don't. So if you want to go through a scale that I use to determine whether or not someone is fascist, we'll go through. I use Lawrence Britt, for instance, the 14 tenets of fascism, and we can accurately determine that Donald Trump meets all 14 tenets, and I think it's a good way to determine that if you want to do that. If you want to use another scale, we can do that. There's other options.
Right.
That being said, if you want me to hone in on a certain policy, I would say his mass deportation policy has been detrimental for the American taxpayer.
Why? Well,
because
most Americans support it.
That's not true. His policy on immigration is in the toilet. Have you ever seen the polling on his immigration policies?
Only on
recently?
CNN, only on liberal sites.
Okay, tell me.
Go on YouTube and read the comments.
Trump is polling
I read a lot
terribly on immigration. Trump is
only on
polling-
liberal sides. Are you
No,
saying
it's not
because
on-
he's not
it's
doing
on liberal
enough?
sides.
Well,
No,
then he's not
because,
doing. Then they think.
No, it's not
Sorry.
because he's not doing enough. It's because American citizens have been killed in the street. That's largely why they have slipped significantly. If you don't know this, right?
Which one?
You can
Who
look
got
this up.
killed? Who got
Alex
killed?
Preddy is a good example of someone who was killed by ICE in the street in Minnesota across from
Mhm.
Glenn Donuts.
What were they doing? I don't know. I'm just.
Do you know
okay.
who
They
Alex
might have
Preddy
been.
is?
No, I never heard of him.
Well, that's the problem, sir. You don't know who Alex
Okay.
Preddy is.
No. What happened? Why did he get shot?
Alex Preddy is an American citizen who was protesting in Minnesota. I was in Minnesota during the battle for Minneapolis, so you're not just talking to someone
Right.
watching on television. I was there. I know what occurred. It was a complete takeover of an entire city and state, and they brutalized the entire state. During that process, he was protesting. They threw him to the ground. They disarmed him and shot him 12 times.
He should have got out of the street. Wasn't he in the street? I mean, you can't just
So
stay
you
in
do
the
know
street.
who Alex Preddy is. You're just being listen.
Well, I remember when that happened. I mean,
Hold
you
on,
can't be
I'm
in the
talking.
street. Here in
I'm talking.
Arizona, no
You see
one
me
would allow
talking?
that.
First of
Yeah,
all,
go ahead.
In
Go
case
ahead.
you don't know this, right? We'll have to break this
Mhm.
down. ICE is
Go ahead.
not the cops. ICE is Immigration Customs Enforcement. ICE
Right.
enforces civil immigration law. They do not have jurisdiction over the American people. So ICE does not corral protesters. That is not their
Mhm.
job. That's not their jurisdiction. So that's number one. We need to make
Mhm.
abundantly clear because we're
In-
constantly saying ICE is police and as if they have the same jurisdiction which they don't. So whether or not someone's standing in the street is irrelevant for an ICE agent. The only ability ICE has to arrest an American citizen is very limited, and that's if an American citizen is directly obstructing an ongoing investigation. If someone is preventing someone from being arrested, if someone's standing in the way while they're trying to grab someone, etc. Those are examples where ICE would have some jurisdiction in whether or not they can detain, arrest, hold an American citizen, but it's limited. They do not have the same authority as the police. If someone is protesting, which is a constitutionally protected right, filming,
Not in the
which is
street.
you can protest wherever you want.
Not here, not in Arizona.
This happened in Minnesota, and yes, you can in Arizona.
Well, then you guys need to start voting Republican. Your state will get better. You'll have better laws, better gun laws.
What are you talking about? The gun laws, and he was allowed to carry a gun in Minnesota.
Okay. Well then,
yeah, he was lawfully carrying a firearm. It was illegal for them to do what they did, but Minnesota couldn't prosecute the case because when the federal agent killed Alex, it was more than one, but the federal agents who killed Alex Preddy, when Minnesota went in to investigate the case, the federal government blocked them from any evidence material.
okay.
Yeah, did you know that?
That sounds like that's a problem with the federal government. What is it?
Well, the federal government is ICE. That's who we're talking about. So could you give me one logical, reasonable explanation that if they didn't break the law, why they would block the state from having a joint investigation, which you would typically do in a circumstance like that where someone's killed on the streets in that specific state?
Well, if the ICE told them to get out of the street and they stayed in the street, what are they supposed to do? Just let people do whatever they want?
Do you know ICE is the same as like a TSA agent? They don't have the authority to tell people you're jaywalking or you're in the street. And he wasn't.
Well, there wasn't other cops there,
and he wasn't in the street when they killed him. No, there wasn't cops there. It was just ICE.
Wow.
The cops didn't get involved in Minnesota. They stayed completely separate.
So isn't that an ICE problem? Why is that Trump? Why is that solely Trump's problem?
Because we're talking about the Department of Homeland Security, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, I personally think that the vast
Did you
majority
just say
of Americans
why is
want
that a
ICE.
Trump problem?
Yeah, like I think the majority of Americans want that. They want people to get the illegal
You're
aliens
wrong.
out of here.
You're wrong. He's got
Okay,
a below
well, I
40%
respectfully
approval rating
disagree.
on immigration right now.
On
It's in the toilet.
liberal places, on liberal sites.
No. There are multiple polls that show this. Would you like me to pull them up? There's tons of them. A Reuters poll has it right here at 34% on immigration. It's considered one of the most accurate polling there is.
But did you know Hispanics voted for Trump more than like any? They voted for Trump big time the second time around.
You were going to say like any what?
Like more than, I'm not sure the specifics, but I think it's more than any
If
other
you don't know the
president
specifics,
besides
you
Bush.
shouldn't. If you don't know the specifics, try not to pivot. So back to what I was
Okay, well-
saying anyway, which is most important. DHS and ICE are part of what branch of government, sir?
Federal government, right? What do you mean? No, that's not
federal
a
a
branch.
branch.
It's the- not
Excuse me.
executive.
Is federal a branch of government?
Executive? Is that part of the executive?
Right. Yes. Executive branch. And ICE
Yeah.
is inside what department?
Homeland Security.
That's Department of Homeland Security. And that's a cabinet level executive department that was created after 9/11, okay, which is headed by the Secretary of the Homeland Security. That department is enforcing policies created by Trump. So that's how it's Trump's problem.
Hmm.
Did you see American citizens getting killed in the street under previous presidents?
No.
Right. So it's very specific to this administration. So this is a consequence.
Oh, what do you
of this
mean? Oh, the murder rate in Chicago and stuff was out of control under Obama.
Okay. So first of all, before we get to
It's
that,
lowered a lot since Trump has been president.
it was lowering before Trump became president.
I don't know about that. Man.
Well, it was. You can look. Why don't you look it up right now? Do you know that crime's been going down since 2020, post-COVID?
Yeah, Trump. Conservatism's growing, like you said.
When was Trump president?
2016 and 2020.
So who was president after 2020? Who was president in 2021?
Biden. Joe Biden.
So then Biden was president most of the time that we're talking about, and crime's been going down significantly, trending downward. With the
He
exception
also didn't win. The people weren't down with him. They wanted more of Trump. They wanted more of conservatism.
What do you mean they weren't down with him? He didn't run.
Then Biden?
He didn't run.
Well,
he stepped down.
Kamala, they're
Kamala.
connected. And Kamala, they're connected.
Well, two different people,
that's basically Biden.
Well, Biden beat Trump. I don't know. The only time he was the president, he ran for president, he beat him. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Do you want me to give you a piece of advice, bro?
Sure, Darren. Sure, youngster.
Take a less. See how you said, here you go, youngster? First, I don't know how young you think I am, but I'm a father. I'm a grown ass fucking adult. So don't call me youngster.
Nice.
But number two, if you want to seem like you're genuine, you should take a less sarcastic approach. Like you're talking like arrogance usually comes with intelligence, right? If you're intelligent, then you can speak arrogantly. You're not.
I'm not trying to be arrogant. I'm just saying what I feel, I think, what I'm noticing.
Well, what did Obama do? Yeah.
Obama deported more than Trump.
How about Obama?
He deported more than Trump.
So what does that say about the success of Trump's deportation operation then?
I know, man. That's one thing I have a qualm with Trump about.
So the one thing I brought up, you have a qualm. Okay. Well, you want to go through other things? I mean, Trump's
one more thing, because I don't want to bug you too much. Go ahead.
I want to talk
I'm not
about,
trying to be arrogant.
Sure, one more thing. Let's talk about the Iran war. Do you think that was good for the American taxpayer?
You know, I'm kind of weird because I believe war is good for the economy.
Okay.
So yeah, it's good for the economy and your 401k.
So you think this war is good for the American taxpayer?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Really? During an affordability crisis, making things more unaffordable?
Yeah. Well, you think that's from the Iran war or handing out money?
No, it's not actually. So do you
COVID money?
Do you think the war is good or bad? Do you think it's justified?
I think it's terrible. I think it's a nightmare, man. I think all war is bad.
Okay, so there's another terrible thing. So we're two in, and both things you don't agree with. I'm curious. What
Obama went to war more than Trump.
Why do you keep talking about
Obama bombed whoever they wanted?
Why do you keep talking about Obama?
Because we're comparing. I mean, you're obviously
I'm not comparing him.
left-wing.
Obama hasn't been president in years. Why would I compare him to Obama?
But Trump hasn't gone to any wars other than this little skirmish with Iran. Obama went to war almost nonstop.
What are you talking
bombing
about?
Everybody. He bombed Libya. What?
Wait. Hold on a
he
second.
He took over Libya.
Hold on. If we're talking about war and we're talking about military operations, those are two different things. You know that, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's semantics. Come on, it's semantics, right?
It's not.
No?
Like they're distinctly different. in terms of their congressional authorization and all sorts of stuff like that. Afghanistan wasn't a result of Obama. Iraq wasn't a result of Obama. There was
he kept it going.
Okay. Again, if you want to talk about expanded military campaigns, or you want to talk about starting war post 9/11, whether they fought in them, expanded them, opened new fronts, right? Those are all different conversations. The war in Iran should have never happened. That's a new war that was started under this administration. It never should have happened for a number of different reasons. But it's based off a lie, right? It's not true. What was the original justification for the war in Iran?
Nuclear bomb.
Right. And what was Operation Midnight Hammer that was conducted 6 months prior? A little more than 6 months prior.
Operation Hammer? I'm not sure about that.
Well, it was a military operation targeted towards destroying their ability to develop nuclear weapons.
We have to do that.
Right. So
we have to stop them.
Sure. So let's use your logic, right? We have to stop them from developing nuclear weapons. What did Donald Trump say was the success of that operation in Iran, Operation Midnight Hammer?
Well, he said all sorts of stuff. That's one thing I do have a problem with. I mean, he's wishy-washy on that stuff.
He wasn't wishy-washy. He said that we destroyed their ability to develop nuclear weapons. Very straightforward.
Oh, right.
Yeah. He said that the operation was a success. And then 6 months later, he claimed, we're going to war because we need to stop their ability to develop nuclear weapons, right? The United States or Israel's or Bibi Netanyahu's been claiming that Iran was developing nuclear weapons for over 3 decades, right? The last 30 plus years. When my president says, well, I destroyed their ability to develop nuclear weapons, and then he uses nuclear weapons as a primary objective just 6 months later, I question whether or not he's telling me the truth. And then when he says that Iran was going to attack us amid negotiations, and then the Secretary of State says that's not true, Israel was actually planning an attack, and these were preemptive measures to prevent Iran from attacking U.S. military bases, then I question him even more, right? And then Pete Hegseth contradicts that statement, and then we're in Iran because we really don't understand how Iran's government is structured. We really don't understand the IRGC. We don't understand the consequences in regards to the Strait of Hormuz.
It's an Islamic Republic.
I understand, but how is the government straight? It's a multi-layered system of government. Do you know anything about it?
Not much, just that they have like an Ayatollah,
Okay. And what else?
And they don't let women do a lot of stuff.
No, that has nothing to do with the structure.
They don't let people be Christians. What?
That has nothing to do with the structure of their government. That's not what I mean. What I'm saying is they're a multi-layered system in the sense that the way that the United States and Israel conducted the initial strikes, those decapitation strikes, would have never been successful had you understood their multi-layered system of government and how the IRGC is structured in the Mosaic Doctrine. You recognize that the president is underqualified, right? Underinformed and incompetent and shouldn't be in charge of this whatsoever.
Yeah. All right.
Okie dokie.
We'll see what happens. I hope it works out, man. But thanks for taking my call. Sorry, I didn't mean to be sarcastic or anything.
You were a little bit, but it's all good.
Yeah, all right. I'll change that. I appreciate you.
All right, man. Take care.
All right, you too.
Somebody in the chat said Jesus was Antifa. Well, he had long hair. Don't take President Trump literally. Take him seriously. Yeah. Look, President Trump is an incompetent. So President Trump is an incompetent. People in chat saying Antifa is a terrorist group. Why don't you call in and we'll have a conversation? Guys, I would appreciate becoming a super fan. If you haven't subscribed yet and you do enjoy these conversations, I would appreciate it. I'm also on TikTok, same name, Adam Cray. Yes, I'm probably going to. I'm working on something in Newark, New Jersey right now at Delaney Hall Detention Center, but I can't release it yet. So I'm going to let you guys know what's happening shortly, probably in like a week or so. You guys are going to know the project that I'm working on right now. Antifa is patriotic, right? Just like, would you say the soldiers that stormed the beaches of Normandy to liberate Europe were patriotic? I ask you that question. Seriously, answer this question. Would you say the soldiers that stormed the beaches of Normandy to liberate Europe were patriotic, yes or no? Just answer that question. Thank you, Martin. I appreciate you, buddy. MAGA's scared to call in. They get humbled quick. Yep. Antifa and Hitler love capitalism. Hitler is not Antifa. Hitler is fascist. Antifa is the opposite of fascism. Antifa is anti-fascism. Mitch McConnell is looking up with Charlie now. Mitch McConnell, I think, is dead, to be honest with you. I don't think Mitch McConnell's alive. But you guys tell me. I don't know, man. Let's pull this up really quick while we're waiting. So I kind of like, I was going to do like a slow-mo video on this whole thing and kind of like look at it and discuss like what you guys thought here.
Wait, you don't write?
How are they're putting ads on shorts now? All right, so
You now
let
got
me bring this guy's thing up because I think he does a decent analysis. What is this guy's name? DeFranco or whatever. I've seen him before. So I was gonna do a video like this, and then I looked up and there was like 50 of them. So I was like, "Fuck it," and I didn't do one. Jono sent me 1 cent. Guys, Jono sent me 1 cent on Venmo and said, "Hope this helps."
Franco or whatever. I've seen him before.
Guy, you have to turn off the live stream.
Yeah, I just did. Sorry, brother. I just wanted to make sure I could hear you all swinging.
Jono
I didn't want to miss nothing.
Jono Logistics sent me 0.01 cent and said, "Hope this helps." No, Jono, it doesn't. Thank you, though. Go ahead.
Yeah, you said Antifa's are patriots.
Yeah.
All right, since you got stuff you could look up, why don't you search Antifa protests and see what comes up? See how much fire's in the background of those pictures. You ain't even got to click on none of the other videos.
Hey,
just scroll through what comes up and see how much fire you got back in the background.
Okay, that's a great question. I have a question for you. Do you have Google?
Yeah, I got Google.
Can you type in your Google Adam Cray activist? Just type Adam Cray activist. You see how my username is? Adam, C-R-A-I, one word, no space, and then the word activist. And I want you to read me what it says.
All right, hold on.
Type my username, Adam Cray, one word, and then space activist. And I want you to read me what it says.
Adam Cray.
One word, A-D-A-M-C-R-A-I, one word, no space, and then activist.
All right, Adam Cray is an independent journalist and activist known for documenting and protesting the conditions of the Langley Hall and Immigration and Customs Enforcement Federal Detention Center in Newark, New Jersey.
So the point is, I am Antifa. I've documented Antifa. Antifa just means anti-fascist. I've been at these protests you're talking about. I don't need to Google them.
All right, but I'm saying for everybody else.
I travel to go watch them in person. So you're talking to someone who doesn't need to watch them on a YouTube video. I've seen them in person.
Okay, so you've seen them firsthand, so you know how warm their protests are in the cold nights when everything's burning. You know, you can fool a bunch of people who don't do their own research and don't know what the hell's going on.
Didn't I just tell you I was there? I've told you I filmed this stuff, and that's not true. What are you talking about? What specific incident are you talking about? Let's go, because here's the thing. Are you saying that the right does not do these things?
Well, why don't you search MAGA rallies?
All right.
And just scroll through the pictures of everything that pops up.
Okay,
and
I'm
see
doing
how
it,
much
please,
stuff
sir.
is burning in the background.
Sir, I'm doing it. Okay? I'm doing it right now. Okay, MAGA rallies. Okay, so this is the response on yours. This is what Google says here. MAGA rallies include January 6th, which is an event that refers to an attack on the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021, where a massive crowd of Donald Trump supporters, the MAGA movement, marched to the Capitol to disrupt Congress from certifying the 2020 election results, resulting in a violent breach of the building. MAGA is responsible for numerous violent attacks, and then starts going through a number of violent attacks that MAGA is responsible for. Should I read them all?
Nah, because a lot of people already know what's the outcome of it because they have it in Washington. You could actually go to their building and read the transcripts of it all and see what happens, but a lot of people don't. Have you been to Washington? Have you read the transcript?
Washington State?
And the end result?
Washington
have you
State,
seen the end result?
Yeah, I've been.
Have you seen the end result? Have you seen the end result of what J6 eventually discovered, or what the end result was of J6?
What?
Like, they got everything. You could read what their outcome really was. It's not out for the public to see and whatever, and how bad it is. I don't know. Maybe that's why it's not out in the public. But a lot of people go there, they read it, they see what the hell is going on. I have yet to do it, but I had got friends that do. And they said there was a big PSYOP job going on, and they read through all of that. So if you haven't done it, but you're
so that's not true, sir. Would you like to talk about it? I know a lot about this circumstance. You want to have a conversation about it?
Yeah, we can go between what you think you know and what I think I know.
You know nothing, because I watch. You know what comes down? You know when we say we think we know things, it simply comes down to proof. Can you provide me one piece of evidence that indicates that happened?
Yeah, here, let me pull that up.
Yeah, pull it up. Just don't laugh like that again, because it's giving me the willies.
All right, hold on.
You did it right after I said don't do it ever again. Yeah, honestly, like when you laugh like that, I just picture this guy walking out of a dark corner in a basement when I'm tied up to a pole. Chat, I would appreciate everybody in here hitting the thumbs up while we wait for this person to respond. If you guys haven't contributed to the gifting goal yet, yeah, I just put it up. I would appreciate doing that. You can support the live. If you haven't considered becoming a member yet, support the channel. We go live a lot. We do a lot of stuff over here. I'm also on TikTok and Instagram, but my Instagram is adam.cray because somebody took the name, so it's adam.cray. But same name on TikTok. We've been doing YouTube seriously for about a year. And if you want to be a part of the team, I would appreciate it.
Oh wow, this is long. Hold on, let me scroll through this real quick. Now, go ahead. While I'm reading through this, go ahead and tell me your little something for your audience, and then I'll jump in.
I don't have anything to say. I'm waiting for your proof. It should be easy to find if there's overwhelming proof, like you said.
All right, hold on. Let me skim through this. Let me see what it says. All right, how about just like the findings? The official findings of government watchdogs and intelligence agencies conclude that there is no factual evidence or an engineered deep state plot or
you just wait. Hold on, guys. Hold on, guys. Everybody stop. Please read what you just said again. Everybody listen. Say it again.
All right, but this is Google.
Say it again. Hold on, he just dunked on himself. Say it again, sir.
Argument for this. Hold on. The deep state is.
You just dunked on yourself, bro. You just dunked on yourself. There's no evidence of any kind of deep state plot. You just dunked on yourself. You literally just dunked on yourself in real time.
All right, proponents of the view argue that the J6 Capitol riots was an inside job orchestrated by the federal
proponents
agents.
Of the view? Who's that?
Well, that's how they call it. I don't know. FBI had at least 26 confidential human sources embedded in the crowd in Washington that day.
Who's that? Who's saying that? That's never been substantiated.
Well, it says the presence of the FBI informants on J6.
So
there's a whole bunch of stuff here. So
people in favor of the do you know what the word proponent means?
Nah, not really, but
someone who promotes. So people who promote The View said that? It doesn't make any sense.
All right, so what about, okay, you know what a lot of people say? Who's that dude that was screaming, let's go to the streets and do all that stuff, that he wasn't charged with nothing? Or whatever his name is. No, there was another dude there. But a lot of people, who was that one dude that was sitting there saying the N-word out, and he was a young cat, like our age or something like that? Damn, what the hell was his name? He was a
Jacob Chansley.
He was a new dude. No, he was a new dude that came up out of nowhere recently. Anybody in the audience know what I'm talking about? He went to the bar he went to the bar with a few people when they were playing that new Kanye song.
Sir, this is your evidence, that new Kanye song. Do you realize that you don't?
I'm asking about that dude's name.
This is what it looks like when you have no proof, sir. Okay? Let me ask you a simple question to prove my point as it pertains to this. But in case you don't know, we don't have to talk about January 6th in specific, because all you have to do is research which side of the political spectrum is primarily responsible for political violence. And I've had this conversation with people a number of times, and it's been well researched by myself and the people I've been debating with in past years. And guess what?
All right,
it's not even close. You want me to look it up? You want me to look it up?
Yeah, look this up. You guys only have January 6th. That's the only thing you guys got.
Give me a second.
January 6th.
Hold on. No, we
don't. What other
don't.
violent riots has MAGA been involved in?
Sure. So the Boogaloo Boys, who are supporters of Donald Trump, were actually...
And what did they burn? Did they burn cars? Did they destroy buildings? Did they break into store windows and loot and steal and all that stuff?
Can you not interrupt me,
Did they do that?
Sir,
no, go ahead.
You just asked me, you interrupted me and said, what did they burn? And thank you so much for asking, because they've been criminally prosecuted for burning the police precincts in Minnesota. Remember, they originally thought that was BLM and Antifa. Well, they later found out, and these people have been since criminally prosecuted for pretending that BLM burned this police precinct down, but it was actually the Boogaloo Boys, who are Trump supporters, who are a violent militia. Now, hold on a second. Okay, let me pull this up for you.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta find the study because I don't have it off thing here. But hold on, because I want to give you accurate numbers.
Yeah, because I don't know who the Boogaloo Boys are, but I know they had those dudes.
Sir, please stop. You're rambling.
I'm just speaking while you're looking.
So the Boogaloo Boys, I already explained to you. If you were listening to what I said, you'd know that the Boogaloo Boys are a militia, a Trump-supporting right-wing militia, pro-fascist militia. Now, hold on a second. So you're just going to quickly...
Well, that's good.
All right, we're going to put you to sleep. All right, that's fine. We're going to put you to sleep.
MAGA needs some type of militia or something.
Apparent Alpha, thank you so much. This dude's a weirdo. Let me just dunk on him real quick so we can get out of here. So there's a Cato study, right, that looked at a 51-year period and then a 15-year period since Donald Trump got elected for the first time in politics, okay? Over the 51-year period, right-wing ideology was linked to the majority of politically motivated murders, okay? It's like 400 to 200. Left-wing ideology. Hold on. Well, let's do the actual numbers, okay? Right-wing ideology was linked to 391 of 618 non-9/11, because they use a different category for terrorism, which is politically motivated, but it's not left or right. So 391 of the 618 non-9/11 politically motivated murders were committed by right-wing extremists. Left-wing ideology was responsible for 65 murders in that same span. In the most recent 5 years, from 2020 to 2025, the study found 44 deaths from right-wing perpetrators with right-wing beliefs to 18 deaths from perpetrators with left-wing beliefs. So the overall conclusion of the study, right, was that politically motivated violence is rare, but when it does occur, the right wing has been responsible for more deaths than the left wing in the United States over the last half century. So when it just comes to which side commits more violent crimes, the right is overwhelmingly the perpetrator. Yeah.
Well, I don't know where you're getting that. Where are you getting that source at?
It's a Cato Institute study. It's from Cato.
Now, was there a
it's been cited. It's been cited in Congress multiple times. No. So you want me to pull some of these instances up we're talking about?
Yeah, I want to see if there was any self-defense involved in there.
No, there's no self-defense. So, for instance, I'll give you a couple off the top of my head. Paul Pelosi, who was attacked by a right-wing nut job with a hammer when he was looking for Nancy Pelosi, that was a right-wing extremist. Charlottesville, the Unite the Right rally, that was right-wingers. You had the synagogue shooting in 2018 where the guy killed like 10 or 11 people. That was a right-winger. The El Paso Walmart shooting, the attacker targeted Latino people because he didn't want them in this country. He said there was a Hispanic invasion. You had the shooting in Buffalo at the supermarket. Remember that? Killed 10 people. He said he was citing Hitler and things like that's right wing. You had the Colorado Springs Club shooting. You had the Boogaloo Boys in 2020. You had the Gretchen Whitmer kidnapping plot, right? You had January 6th. You had the Tallahassee Yoga Studio shooting. These are all right-wing acts of violence, politically motivated acts.
I remember all that. But those dudes, look at what they're wearing. They're wearing the khaki pants, the blue tops, the face masks on, the hats. You couldn't tell their identity. You didn't know who they are, what the hell was going on. And it had nothing to do with actual MAGA rallies.
Let me address a comment in the chat here. There's a guy that says the homeless Pelosi guy with a hammer wasn't right-wing. Laughing my ass off. Yes, he was. He's been prosecuted and admitted that he was right-wing and didn't like Nancy Pelosi. That his motive was to kill her. So you're wrong.
Yeah, but there's a whole bunch of psyops going on and a whole bunch of crisis events, and when I look at that, I see these people in these outfits and they all match, and then they all get high fives from cops. They give them leeway. It's like something sinister going on, because when I see MAGA rallies, I see a bunch of people out there just partying, having fun, doing their thing. And then I see these Antifa rallies and BLM rallies, and they're burning cities down. Then you look at that bald chick, Nancy Pelosi, all the Democrats, they're sitting there yelling, take to the streets to make them pay.
So you're going to say the same thing that Patriot.
So you're going
to say the same thing that Patriot Front says, and then claim that Patriot Front is a psyop. I love this logic from MAGA, right? They'll point to these whites. Hold on, sir. I'm talking, sir.
Yeah,
do you hear me talking? Yeah, that's what I thought. Run. Exactly, because he knows he's in a corner, so he ran, because that's what they do. They run when they're in a corner every single time. It's funny to me how you guys perpetuate the same nonsense as these groups like Patriot Front, and then you go, oh, it's probably a psyop. What, because they're doing it out in the open in an organized fashion when you're a bunch of organized hillbillies? Give me a friggin' break.
Bad DAB.
Yeah, you got to turn off my live stream in the background, sir.
Yeah, no, I did. No, I don't know if it was my new headbuds that hung up on me or what happened.
We thought
I ain't running, dude.
All right, well,
listen,
you did
I don't run, dog.
You did run, but let me finish what I was saying. And by the way, Cindy, thank you so much for upgrading to a Muppet Masher. Let's fucking go, Cindy, in the chat. Guys, I'd appreciate contributing to the gift and goal. You can also support on Venmo and Cash App. I pinned it there. I'd appreciate it. What I said was, you perpetuate the same propaganda, the same nonsense as right-wing extremist organizations like the Patriot Front, and then when the Patriot Front walks around organized in uniforms around Washington, D.C., you guys call it a psyop. What, because it got press? What, because they drew attention to themselves? They're making you look bad because it's so obviously white supremacy? When you guys like to gaslight people into believing you're America First Christian nationalists, you're just bigots. You know
No,
it, and I
see,
know
the problem with that is you guys always throw those groups at us as if we are those groups, and those groups are us.
You are.
Those groups are not us.
Yeah, you are.
No, they're not us.
Yes,
No, because what I see every day for the past 10 years was Democrats inciting violence. Take to the streets, punch them in the face, make them pay. If you see them gather a crowd.
So wait a second.
Who's celebrating Charlie Kirk's death? Who was in these riots?
Who celebrated George Floyd's death? Who celebrated George Floyd's death? You guys, wait a second. I just had MAG supporters in my chat 20 minutes ago or an hour ago celebrating the death of this 52-year-old Mexican immigrant in Houston, right? Lorenzo Salgado Araujo, laughing, saying he deserved it because he was undocumented. Don't feed me this bullshit like you guys don't celebrate people's death. You do it all the time. You mocked Paul Pelosi.
I don't celebrate nobody's death, and the people I know don't do that. So whoever these other people are, they got mental issues too.
I know. The person I'm talking to is always the moral maggot. The person I'm talking to is always the moral maggot. Always.
Well, for me, it is moral because I'm not going to sit there and take a side that's going to incite violence, allow drag queens and story time.
You're doing it right now.
Schools.
You're doing it right now.
You're saying MAGA's in schools right now twerking for pre-kindergarten children, teaching them how little Johnny crack, little Bobby's ass wide open. That's not happening. Then you're blind,
guys,
and you're lying.
Guys,
you're straight up lying. It was happening.
Never has the saying "ignorance is bliss" been more true than right now. You're actually saying the things that cause violence. Now, let's be clear about something. Nobody's twerking for kids. If you're talking about drag story,
no. Well, look it up. Look it up.
I don't
drag
need to
queens
look it up.
Twerking for pre-kindergarten children.
Do you understand?
And see what kind of videos pull up.
So first of all, drag is.
And then you're gonna say, "Oh, chemical castration wasn't a thing. They weren't advocating for healthy children."
Listen,
for chemical castration.
Sir, you're in
you lost it, bro.
Listen, you're a
because that's why you keep cutting me off.
You
want to talk, and I listen. And when I
I'm
talk,
not going to give you
say,
a
"Hold
platform
on,"
to say misinformation. Sorry, that's not how this works.
Cry, baby liberal. That's what you guys do. Cry, and then you guys cut people off.
You don't like facts.
You're gonna say that it wasn't a thing. Non-binary wasn't a thing.
You don't like facts. You don't like facts.
So people weren't getting offended when you didn't call them. Like you go on social media right now and go through here. You got plenty of liberal platforms saying, "All right, what's your name, age, and pronouns?" And if you don't give your pronouns, they ain't even gonna entertain you or talk to you. You gonna say that ain't anything either?
So wait, you have a problem using pronouns, sir?
Yeah, I do have a problem with pronouns because, like, I busted out one of those chicks. She was like, "Yeah, you know why we use pronouns? Because it's a means of communication, so we don't sound stupid when we talk to each other." I'm like, "Yeah, when we talk to each other. That's not in a form of identity that somebody sits there and says, oh, I identify as non-binary, him, her, they, them, she, him, whatever, shim, and transvestite, whatever." And all of a sudden now she's all right. See, there you go again. Don't say that. Why are you restricting? If you're so free speech and about American people's rights, why are you restricting my right?
Because I'm not.
I didn't grow up using that.
Sir.
Look,
sir,
I didn't grow up. Hold on.
Are you going to let me respond? I don't give a shit how you grew up. It's irrelevant.
Respond, but let me say one thing before you do.
Clearly, you grew up with a twisted parents.
No, I'm 50 years old.
Let me finish, please.
There's a difference.
Let me finish
I'm a 50-year-old man.
You're not being asked to believe a theology. You're being asked to use the right word for a human being, like getting their name right. If you can learn someone's name, you can learn their pronouns. This isn't a cognitive issue. It's a priority issue.
So me calling you Adam, me calling you Adam is fine. But if you ask me to call you he, him, if you asked me to call you he, him, and I just called you Adam, I'd be the asshole.
Wrong. So now
because I don't want to call you he, him.
Now you're mischaracterizing the argument. So let's be clear about one thing.
No, you are.
No, I'm not, sir. Sir, are you going to let me respond?
With pronouns
are you going to let me respond?
Using it as an identity. There is no identity here. There's a big difference, dude.
So are you going to let me respond? Are you going to let me respond?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead, he, him.
Okay.
Go ahead, he, him.
So in case you don't know this, nobody has a problem with you using their name. I know plenty of transgender people who have zero issue with being called by their name. In fact,
but they have issues not being called he, him, or they, them.
Wrong. Every person I've ever encountered that's transgender even will say, "Hey, if you keep making the mistake, just use my name. That's fine." But saying saying I have a problem with pronouns is just a way of saying I have a problem with you. And that's what you have a problem with. You have a problem with
I have a big
people
problem
who are trans. Well, that's because you don't understand
pronouns are not
science.
meant. Pronouns are meant for speech, for us to communicate, not as an identity.
Okay,
like,
that's fine.
hey,
So use their name.
Instead
So
of calling
use
you
their
Adam,
name.
I'm gonna call you he,
So
him all
use
day.
their name.
I'm gonna
So
call
use
you
their name.
they,
Use their
them.
name. It's a basic
All right,
courtesy.
they, them.
Stop
I'm gonna call
crying.
you they,
Remember when
them.
you said all liberals do is cry, and here you are
That's
crying.
all you're doing. You're a they,
Hold
them.
on. Can I finish talking? You interrupt me, and then you say don't interrupt.
Is
Right?
that why you're a liberal? Because
said
you like
I'm not
you
liberal.
like dudes in
I'm not
dresses and
liberal.
shit.
I'm not liberal. I'm
Well,
farther
you're
left
on the
than
left.
liberals.
Is that why you're on the left then? Because you like dudes in drag and dresses and.
So you gonna let me finish?
And you like
you
all
gonna
that?
let me finish? You gonna let me finish?
Yeah, go ahead.
You let me finish?
Go ahead, they,
you
them.
clown.
Go ahead,
so
they, them.
you
Finish.
just talked about how much the left cries, and here you are crying about using a basic courtesy, right? That's
No,
what
it's not
you're
a
doing.
basic
So,
courtesy.
Hold on. You're not being asked to change your beliefs, sir. You're being asked to change a word in your vocabulary so someone isn't invalidated. And if that's difficult for you, it's because you're an asshole.
No,
Okay?
it's not because I'm
It
50 years
is.
old.
I don't give a
grew up
shit.
using the.
I don't care how old you
we
are.
didn't grow up using words like intersex. We used hermaphrodite. There's certain
Goodbye,
technical words that
sir.
are now
Goodbye,
slow.
sir. Goodbye. You're out of your mind. So you're not willing to learn. So goodbye. I'm not going to let you use offensive language about a marginalized community. It's not going to happen. Again, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. You're not being asked to change your beliefs. If you don't want to believe it, then don't believe it. You're being asked to use the appropriate vocabulary so someone isn't invalidated. If that's a problem for you, then get lost. Okay, I'm sure you remember sports stats. I'm sure you memorize all sorts of song lyrics. You can remember someone's pronouns. You just don't like transgender people because you're a bigot. Okay? Plain and simple, folks. Not difficult to identify either. Pretty damn easy to identify. Oh, wait, guys. I think you're going to love this. Hold on.
Hello.
Hello, you called?
Yeah, I did. Actually, I wanted to tell
God.
you.
Oh,
you're,
God.
No,
Oh, God.
no, I wanted to tell you.
Hey,
You know what?
Judd.
You're right. No, you're right. You're right.
I've been
You're
right
I
the
give
whole
in.
time, Judd.
No, I don't call me a chud. Chub.
I just did.
Chubby.
You're
Hey,
a
Chubby.
Chud.
Chubby.
See the difference? It doesn't bother
Chode.
me. Cannibalistic humanoid underground dweller.
Well, you know what? No, the sad thing is when you're a dick sucker, when you're a dick sucker. Hey, dick sucker, stop it! You sound like a fucking corrosive joker.
All right, listen, I'm gonna put you on live in a minute, okay? I haven't put you on live yet.
Oh, you're being a dick.
No, I haven't put
You're
you on
being a
live
dick,
yet. I always
dude.
wait a few
Dude,
minutes,
I was
'cause
just
you're gonna
saying to you, hey, I give in. I get it. I get it.
Oh, sure.
get it.
You found out that you were a chud?
Fucking dude.
Dude, you know
Do
you're a
you
chud.
want me to come fucking kick you in the nuts?
You ain't gonna do
Oh,
shit.
wait, you don't have nuts.
Dude, we all know
you don't
what
have
would
nuts.
We all know what would happen if you came up to me in person. So just remember that. You
What would happen?
You're scared
What
of
would
people on
happen?
the left, dude, because you wouldn't do shit.
I'm not fucking scared, dude. I'm not fucking scared of nobody.
Everyone knows you're
I'm not scared of nobody. Listen to me. I'm not scared of nobody
You're
because you
scared
know
of
what?
me.
I'm not scared of you. I'm
You're
trying to
scared of
talk to
people.
you.
You're scared of people.
Are
Listen.
you fucking kidding me?
No, I just think you're
Dude,
a chud, bro.
dude, you sit on a mic all day, okay? All right. What do you think I do all day?
Be a chud.
I'm a framer. I'm an electrician. I'm a plumber.
And a chud.
I'm a roofer. Dude, when we're all gone, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
A chud.
No, I'm not going to be. When I'm not around, what are you going to do?
Call you a chud.
What are you going to do?
Wait, when I'm not around, what do you think? The world revolves around you or something? I'm going to move on. Why would I care?
No. But can you? Okay, let me ask you something.
Daddy, please don't die, Daddy. I can't live without you, Daddy.
Oh, fucking dude, you're a fucking piece of work, bro.
Well, listen,
dude.
I'm
do you know how?
I'm not forgiving you for the shit. No, I'm not forgiving you for the shit you said to me the other day. Do you think we just start over every day? You insulted me, chud.
You fucking insulted me fucking 3 times over.
You insulted me first.
Why? Because you're a little cunt?
Yeah, that's what you called me, chud.
You are a little cunt.
And you
sit in the basement. You sit in the basement on a fucking on your little microphone that glows. You have a glowing dick in front of you because you suck it for your master.
Do you think
that's what you do? You little liberal pussy.
Do you think about that?
You little liberal.
You're a
little pussy.
Does that turn you on?
No, it doesn't, because it ashames me, because I fucking smash you in the face.
You trust me, you wouldn't.
You fucking were on my job site being a little bitch.
Trust me, you wouldn't, weakling. Thank you, 210 Rain. Let's go. I'm a space cowboy.
Yeah, let's go. Into the ring. Yeah, let's go, Chud. Let's go. Chode. Captain Chode over here. Hey, you're the load your mother should have swallowed, bro. You're the load your mother should have swallowed.
Let me just be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest.
Fuck you. You always do that. You lead people in. You lead them in, and you make them sound like I'm compassionate. You're not. You're a fucking jerk off,
all right,
bro.
So let me just tell you one
You're
more thing.
You're a jerk off.
Let me just tell you one thing, right? And I mean this.
Let me tell you something.
Let me
tell you one thing.
Let me tell you one thing.
Chud. Dude, learn a new line. Learn a new line.
He's scared to let me talk.
No, I do. And when I do, then you insult me.
He's scared of me.
I'm not scared of you. I'm not scared of you.
Then let me talk.
I'm not scared of you, little New Jersey boy. Little New Jersey cunt.
Then let me talk.
I'm not scared of you, you little New Jersey cunt.
Let me talk then. Let me speak.
No, because I don't want you to talk.
Right, well,
because you fucking insulted me, and you called me offline, and you insulted the shit out of me, you fucking scumbag.
That never happened, Chud. I never called
you. You. Fuck you. You're full of shit. And you know what?
You're a weakling.
Fuck you. Dude, I'm not weak.
You're weak as hell.
I'm not weak.
Sabu Kelly.
You're a paid off.
Let's go.
You're a paid off little cunt. And you know what? Your fucking time will come.
Does pay me. George
Fuck
Soros
you,
does pay
George Soros. You're sucking his cock.
George Soros
You're sucking his son's
Is that
cock.
what this is all about?
Because you're a loser. You're a loser.
Listen, it's okay.
You're a loser in a basement.
Okay,
you're a loser in a basement,
sir,
cunt.
It's okay. You're a weakling. You're a weakling.
Cunt.
You're weak.
Cunt.
You're weak.
Cunt.
You're weak, sir.
Cunt.
You're weak,
Cunt.
sir. Goodbye,
Cunt.
sir. You're
I'm not weak,
sir.
cunt.
You're very
Later,
weak.
cunt.
You're weak.
And you call me.
Everyone
you
in the
fucking
chat is
dude.
calling you weak. Oh my God, the whole chat is chanting weak, weak. You're so weak. Oh my God.
Yeah, you know why? You know why? Because none of you.
You guys don't know who that is. That is a regular caller who. Listen here, you. If you guys don't know the story behind all this, the lore. This individual is a Trump supporter who basically said he was going to unalive me. It's a whole thing. He never showed up. He continues to call in. I called him a chud one time, and he lost his fucking mind. The clip got some attention on social media, too. I posted on Instagram and stuff. If you guys don't know the lore. But listen, we'll call him back real quick and just tell him he's a chud and tell him goodnight real quick. Hold on.
What? What do you want?
I'm putting you on the phone with someone else. Hold on. Nope, it's me. You're a weakling and a chud. Goodbye. If you knew him at all, he's going to be punching holes in the drywall. If you are a Trump supporter, you can call in 908-652-3703. You'll have to forget about that guy. He's a bit of he's a chud. That's what he is. He's a chud. Last time I entered this chat, he made it so I couldn't talk like freedom of speech. So let me just say this really quick for RP, who's crying in the chat. Freedom of speech doesn't apply to social media, right? Freedom of speech is something that protects you from the government, meaning I can mute you all day. That's not freedom of speech. I actually am protected by the First Amendment in my ability to curate my message. That's on my platform. 815, are you a Trump supporter?
Who, me? Wait, I
Yeah.
clicked the right button. No, I'm not. I'm just confused on what the hell this is all about.
This is
Maybe give him a
Ronnie's
little-
Pizza, dude. So listen, we got a
Did I
special
connect to
tonight.
the wrong thing? Because I called the number that was on a different live by a dude named Adam Cry.
No, dude, this is Ronnie's Pizza. You want to hear a little bit about our specials, though, in case because you called anyway.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so we have this Italian deep dish kind of a deal. It's really good, but the cheese is on the bottom. No, it's Adam, dude. What's up? And it's cray, not cry. Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm kind of a dipshit.
What's up?
I wanted to know, like, how many freaking people do you get every day with that are, like, complete assholes and just spam the fucking word liberal?
A lot, but it depends on what platform. TikTok, I get a lot more that do it, but there's more. Like, if you're talking about like the proportion of people on YouTube, there's like I don't know. There's a lot on all platforms. So, do you support Trump, dude?
No, in fact, I'm very much against him because almost every single action he has made is against every single American in the country.
Let's
like,
go.
There's no defending his actions.
How old are you, bro?
I'm 23.
I'm glad to hear it, brother. Stay down the right path, okay?
It'll take a lot to derail me.
Yeah, no, you're headed down the right path. Just keep educating yourself, because if you don't keep educating yourself, you like kind of lose your armor, right? Because remember, the system is working very hard to push us in that direction always, right? So you got to keep educating yourself to fight against it and resist.
The best way to fight ignorance is to keep yourself researching and keep digging into the information, never ceasing and never stopping.
That's right, brother. Well, appreciate you calling in. Take care.
You as well.
All right. So yeah, I think we're gonna talk about the Iran war this coming week. I'm gonna go away for a few days, but I'm going to be streaming on TikTok. I wanted to let you guys know that too. Naylin, thank you so much. So we're probably gonna stream next week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Not Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but we are going to stream on TikTok. So here's your opportunity to make sure you follow me on TikTok if you do want to see me live Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Naylin, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Appreciate you, Naylin. Yeah, we're going to be live TikTok. I'm still bringing all the TikTok stuff that I need for TikTok, but YouTube won't be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. There'll be videos and shorts, but
Kyle.
It won't be live for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday because I won't have my equipment where I am, but I will be every day live on TikTok this week. What's up?
How you doing?
And we'll be back on YouTube here Thursday, and we'll stream through the weekend on YouTube. Make sure you guys become a member here. Make sure you hit the notification bell.
Hello.
What's up, dude? 1 second. We got a lot going on, but we're very active over here, so it helps support the content, especially if you support the independent journalism and some of the stuff that I do on the ground. What's going on?
How you doing?
I'm fine. What's up? Are you a Trump supporter?
Technically, yeah.
What do you mean technically?
I mean, I believe in what he's doing.
Like what?
Not everything, but yeah, I do.
Okay. What do you support?
I believe,
he what?
Everything he's doing, honestly.
You can't give me one
everything he
thing?
said. Everything he said that he was going to do as a president, he's done it.
That's not true.
The border. Yes, it is true.
Really? Did he release the Epstein files?
But that's false information. What do you mean? That's propaganda. That's not.
What?
None of that shit is true.
Well, where'd you get that? How do you know that?
Come on, man. It's AI, bro. Like, come on, man.
AI?
Bro? Yeah, everything that you see is AI. That's not true.
Sir.
That's not true. Like, you believe everything that you see?
That's a different question. What does AI mean? What does AI stand for?
Because there's AI. It's
What does it
huh?
What does it stand for? What does
What do you
AI
mean,
stand
what does it stand for?
AI,
You know
what does it mean? I do. Do you?
Artificial intelligence, bro.
Right.
Come
So
on, man.
why would that make sense in reference to the Epstein files?
Because people make fake videos. I mean, come on.
But they're
smart?
not
You smarter
video.
than that,
They're
right?
not videos. What are you talking? I mean, there is videos including the files, but the files are everything related to Jeffrey Epstein.
What? Okay, but the real files don't have Trump in them at all.
What real
So
files,
what you see,
sir?
what you see on the internet is the internet.
Okay, we're not talking about the internet,
propaganda.
sir. We're not talking about
That's
the internet.
propaganda, though. Like, you can't believe everything you see, right? I mean, everything you see on the internet ain't true.
Sir, what I'm trying to explain to you is Donald Trump made a promise to release the Epstein files, okay? It's called the EFTA.
Exactly. So why would
Epstein
somebody who's in it release the Epstein files if he's in it?
But he didn't.
That don't make any sense.
Because he didn't
Right?
actually release
I mean-
them. He made a promise to get elected like politicians do, and then he didn't do it when he got in office. And then Congress was forced to pass a law, something called the Epstein Files Transparency Act, which passed with an overwhelming supermajority, with only one nay vote in the House. And because it had a supermajority, it was veto-proof, meaning Donald Trump had to sign the bill, which forced the Department of Justice to release it. But guess what? They didn't release it all, right? The bill said it must be released by December 19th. No, they didn't. The bill said everything related to Epstein must be released by December 19th, 2025. And the Department of Justice, Todd Blanche, Pam Bondi, now Todd Blanche, the Attorney General, acting AG, hasn't completed the release of that information. E.E. Green, thank you for the $10 super chat. Says Adam contributing to the goal and acknowledging you dealing with these MAGA chuds. Your patience, knowledge, and humor are always appreciated. Thank you so much, E.E. Green. I really appreciate your support. I get all this information from where? What do you mean? Which information are you looking for?
Where do you get all this information from?
Which information?
You saying a whole bunch. You say a whole bunch of whatever.
Which part do you want me to prove? That there's an Epstein Files Transparency Act?
No, there is an Epstein file, and
no. Epstein Files Transparency Act.
All your Democratic politicians are in that file, but Trump's not.
So I'm not a Democrat. I have smoke for them as much as I do Republicans when they're wrong. That being said, that's not what we're talking about.
Well,
the president was forced to release excuse me, sir. Sir, do you want to
respect that.
That's great. I don't need your respect. Can you listen to me though? That would show you know what would show me respect? You shutting up when I'm talking. So Congress passed.
I like how y'all always do this shit.
Can you
man.
shut up?
When I get on this shit, man,
because
y'all
you
always
don't stop talking, bro.
Y'all always do this shit, bro.
Because
y'all
you haven't stopped
shit
talking.
on fucking Republicans.
You gotta
bro.
stop talking, my guy. Just
look,
let me
that's
respond.
That's why I'm on here for, right? You have a show to get people, right? I'm talking, and you telling me to stop talking. Like,
right, is it my turn now?
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Okay. So the Epstein Files Transparency Act was passed by Congress.
All right,
because
stop talking.
Stop
talking.
All right, listen. Have a good day, okay, Chud?
No, what? See, you don't.
You're going to tell me to stop talking. I don't know who the fuck you talk to like that, but it's definitely not me. Adam, please help me. I've been at home with a bunch of Republicans who think Trump is great. Christy, bless you. Bless you. Be well. Be well. Brother, the McGregor fight is on. What the fuck are you doing? What are you talking about? Talking about UFC, Conor McGregor? Dude, I don't give a shit about. I mean, Conor McGregor's a rapist. And that fight's not on anyway.
Chris.
That fight's not on till later. That fight won't even start until fucking midnight. Go ahead.
Can we just have a conversation?
No, because you wouldn't stop talking.
Why?
Right?
Okay, well, I'm gonna stop talking then. I'm gonna let you talk.
Call from.
What's up? Are you a Trump supporter? What's up? Are you a Trump supporter?
No, absolutely not. I love what you do, man. You're the.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate you.
I love blues.
You love blues?
Yeah, I love music, bro. You can play that. But can we have a conversation or no?
Whatever you want to do, bro. I'm running out of patience with you.
That's why. How are you running out of patience with me?
Because you won't let me finish. So what am I saying?
Okay, that's why I called you back, because I want you to finish.
Okay. Well, that's good. Is that your first time?
Okay.
So basically, the Epstein Files Transparency Act, okay, was passed by Congress because the president, after promising to release the Epstein files, refused. The Oversight Committee then attempted to subpoena the testimony.
I'm sorry. What president? Trump? Okay.
The Epstein, and then the Oversight Committee, who was tasked with investigating Jeffrey Epstein, was going to attempt to subpoena the testimony of Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell, okay, was then so right after that happened, right after they found out that subpoena was about to take place, coincidentally, the Department of Justice, Todd Blanche, who was Donald Trump's former personal attorney, rushed down to meet with Ghislaine Maxwell out of the blue. After that meeting, Ghislaine Maxwell was transferred to a minimum security prison in Camp Bryan, Texas, a prison that houses typically non-violent offenders. They don't house sex offenders, but she was transferred. At the time, we accused them of meeting quid pro quo. When that recording came out, the only information we got, really, outside of what we already had from testimony during her criminal trial, was that Donald Trump had not engaged in any illegal behavior. Well, the Oversight Committee didn't take that as an answer, right? They're not going to accept that as the true answer, so they subpoenaed the emails from the Epstein estate that had just been released because Ghislaine Maxwell had exhausted her direct appeals. Getting a hold of those emails showed that they had conversations about Donald Trump in private residence of Jeffrey Epstein long before he was ever in politics in the presence of victims. That kind of sparked a further interest in the files. And Congress said, okay, well, let's pass, legislation to force, that the Department of Justice to release what they have, because clearly there's a lot more here than they're letting on. Donald Trump then went and met with Republican politicians, specifically women, and told them not to sign on to the discharge petition because he did not want the Epstein Files Transparency Act to go to the House. He couldn't convince them to do so. They received death threats. It went to the House. There was only one nay vote. It got unanimous consent in the Senate. The president had to sign it because it had a supermajority. And once the date came in which the bill said all files or any material related to Jeffrey Epstein must be released, which was December 19, 2025, the Department of Justice said, well, we didn't have enough time, and they only released part of it. And ever since then, it's been a bunch of excuses as to why they can't release it. They're protecting people. They're doing this. They're doing that, all of which I can debunk if you'd like to go through it individually.
I mean, we can do that. I mean, but my theory.
Sure. So, like, if you want to do that, then what it would have to
go ahead. Then
what we'd focus on is
you want to do all the talking. I mean, that's fine.
Guy, unfortunately,
let me listen.
Unfortunately, in order for me to explain these things, there are months and months and months of information that need to be discussed. You asked me a question, I answered it with every piece of information you would need to know going forward. Do you think I want to have to run through? You know how many times I've explained this?
No, I don't. I don't want you to explain all of it. But I mean,
I do, because I want you to do better, brother.
When somebody comes onto your show, when somebody comes onto your show, do you let them talk or no?
It depends on if they have something to talk about. Let's hear it.
Well, I mean, and what I've seen is Trump is the one who wanted the Epstein files to come out. So why would somebody want the Epstein files to come out if they had something in there? It don't make sense to me, right?
Sir, have the Epstein files been released?
Yeah, basically.
No, they've only released some of them.
And I've seen a lot of propaganda, AI shit where Trump's in a room with little girls and shit. That's AI. Like, yeah, I've seen a lot of shit, but it's not true.
Chestnuts.
I mean, if you believe whatever you see on the internet, then
Jack Frost nipping
here we go.
At your nose.
Here we go. See. You believe everything you see on the internet. You one of them.
Carols being sung.
You're one of them, bro. You
Wow.
see shit on the internet, you believe that shit because you.
Bro,
like
you're stating things that are so easily disproven. Why don't we just go to Google?
It's not disproven,
Okay,
bro. Why would somebody? want the shit to come out?
Sir, let's not argue about it. How about we just go to?
Okay, let's not argue.
Oh my God, sir. How about we just do
I'm
this,
not
right?
trying to argue.
Sir, let's not argue, right? Right. We don't have to argue.
Sir.
Let's type in
All right,
Google,
sir.
right? Just go to google.com, and I want you to type in, have all of the Epstein
Google.
files. Yes.
Google.
You can
think
lose
I
any.
trust that shit?
All right. What search engine do you use?
Man, look, I don't watch the news. I don't watch none
Have
of
a
that.
good day,
bro.
sir.
I don't believe
Sir.
Nah, you,
sir.
you sir, don't believe shit.
Sir,
'cause
let me
you
say
a
this
bitch.
really quick. You
Yeah,
can't
fuck
be.
you
You can't
and
be
your
saved.
show.
You can't be saved. I'm sorry. You can't be saved. There's just people that can't be saved, right? You know, there's just people that can't be saved, and that guy's one of them. I mean, I don't know. I try. I swear, folks, I legitimately don't know what to do with some people. Like, I don't know what he's disputing a fact that's so easily disproven. So what I'm saying is, all you have to do is go to Google and type in "Have the Epstein files been released?" and it's gonna say no, they haven't been released. And guess what? We just saved ourselves 20 minutes of arguing. We don't need to argue about easily disproven factoids. Okay? I wouldn't say it if it wasn't true. Because that's what I do. This is what I do. Okay? 210 Rain Christopher, thank you for the $4.90. W210 Rain Christopher for the support, by the way. Christopher supports a lot. So W210 Rain Christopher for always supporting the content and supporting the mission and supporting everything. Appreciate you, bro. Seriously, big shout out, Christopher. Always supporting. And I appreciate everybody who did support. Thank you to those people who do actually support the content and help me be able to expand and do as much as I do, because I wouldn't be able to do it without that support. I really wouldn't. I love you guys. We've been on here for 2 hours. I streamed 3 hours earlier, so that's 5 hours, probably over 5 hours of streaming today. So I'm going to take a break. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Should be live in the morning on TikTok. Nayland with the $9.99 super chat. Appreciate you so much, Nayland. You help a lot too, Nayland. I appreciate all of you guys that do. I love you guys. I appreciate it. Consider becoming a member of the channel. Guys, I don't need to be live for you to be a member of the channel. We're kind of building something over here. We started it over the last year. It's kind of weird building a new platform, but it's really starting to develop, and it's, going to take a couple more years to get where we want to be, but we're getting there. So, Summer Shade, thank you for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you, Summer Shade. And I appreciate you guys. You can always support me in the link tree in my bio, too, if you guys feel so inclined. If you can support all that, I appreciate it. I am going to be away for a few days, but I'm still going to be streaming in the morning on TikTok. I'm still going to be putting out videos and all that bullshit. The only thing I won't be live on is YouTube Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, but because of that, I'm going to stream through the weekend, which means I'm going to stream Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And we'll put the time in there. Okay. Love you guys. Appreciate you. See you soon. See you in the morning. I will be on TikTok in the morning, either TikTok or YouTube tomorrow morning. Not sure which one. Maybe I'll do both. Maybe I'll do a YouTube early stream before I leave or something. We'll see. But I'll definitely be on TikTok in the morning either way. Take care, everybody. Have a wonderful night. I will see you soon. Bill, thank you so much, Bill. Appreciate you, buddy. Let me see. Let me see. Yeah. Bill. W. Bill in the chat, too. Bill Stillman. Big W. Bill Stillman. Shout out, Bill. Appreciate you so much, Bill. Thank you so much for the support, bro. I appreciate you. I love you guys. Have a wonderful night. Yeah, I do need a new prompt. I have to hit you up about that. Oh, fuck, I don't know. Hit me up in the morning so I can try and go through it with you. I have so much shit going on besides here. I'll tell you about it in a DM, but yeah. Thank you, Bill. Appreciate you, bro. And I'll see you guys soon.